Welcome back to Python class. Once again, I'm Onoyemi Akim, and today I'll be taking you on Python try and except. So let's quickly look at some terminologies that are going to try and accept. The try block lets you test a block of code for errors. So that's why we call it try. So it lets you test the block of code to detect if there's an error. The except block lets you undo the error. So if there's an error, you will undo that error in the except block. While the else block lets you execute code when there is no error. So when there's no error, you will surely be able to execute your code. And the finally block lets you execute your code regardless of the result of the try and except block. Exactly now. So they finally executes your code regardless of the result the try and except block presented. So exception handling: when an error occur or exception as we call it, Python will normally stop and generate an error message. These exceptions can be handled using the try statement. Let's quickly look at how to make use of the try statement. The try block will generate exception because x is not defined. Now let's quickly try that. We say try and we have print x. Remember we didn't define x. And we say except print what? An exception occurred. Alright. Now if we run this, it's going to throw error because we didn't define x, and that is the function of the try. Exactly now. So the try block did not work because we didn't define x and gave us the exception response that an error or an exception occurred. So which means an error occurred. So since the block raises an error, the except block will be executed. That is what is happening here. And without the try block, the program will crash and raise an error. So the statement will raise an error because x is not defined. So if there is no try there, the statement will crash. Alright. So also, let me move this to the side. So many exceptions. You can define as many exception block as you want. E.g., if you want to execute a special block of code for a special kind of error. So if you have like 5 to 6 lists of errors, you can implement several exception codes for that error in order to be able to execute the error that will be coming. So let's try that by doing this. Try. Let's say print x except print variable x is not defined except print something else went wrong. I'll put one more except and I will call it except print. I don't know what to do. Right. If I run this except default except must be last. Okay, we have to put name error here. Name error. Yes. Let me also put not defined here. I think there's no variable called not defined. Let me just leave this and I will remove the last one I added. So save this and run. So variable x is not defined, an error occurred. Okay, that's for the first one. So if variable x is defined, then you say something else went wrong. So that is that. Then we also have else block. You can use else keyword to define a block of code to be executed if no errors were raised. So in that case, we are going to have something like this. Let's use this. I don't want to start typing again since I'm not using command line anymore. So I'm not going to put name error here. Remember, name error is one of the inbuilt command that we have associated with we have it associated with try and except. So we're going to do else here. Else nothing went wrong. Okay. All right. So let's try to run this and see the output here. So we are going to run this and we have something went wrong because the output here is a except this. So and okay, let's change this one to hello. Now that we have something very clear, then the else statement should run perfectly. So we have nothing went wrong. So the code was able to execute hello and at the same time print nothing went wrong for the else. Then finally block, if specified, will be executed regardless if the try block raises an error or not. So we're going to try that by using try, except and finally. So I won't be typing, I will also copy this and paste. Alright, then I will use try, except and finally. So for the finally, I will have the value being changed to the try except is finished. Okay, alright. So and here we say something else, something went wrong. Alright, so let's put x in the bracket here because we want it to pass the final one, whatever the situation may be. So we say run and we have that the try except is finished. So and for you to know, finally block will surely execute regardless if you throw up error or not. So this can be used to close objects and clean up resources. So in that case, we can also try, we can use try and except to open and also to write to a file that is not writable, that is not writable. So in that case, we can say let me quickly type and say try f equals open. What do we want to open? A file name demo file .txt, and we want to try again to do what? To write into s f write lorem is found. Lorem ipsum and we want to carry out the except, and when that except comes, it says we should print something went wrong when writing to the file. And finally, we want the file to close. Then except for the last one, and see the way we use except in and except. Try and except in another try and except. So that is next step try and except if you will ask me. Then except we say print something went wrong opening the file. So when we try out this and run our file, you can see it says something went wrong opening the file because I did not have called such a file called demo file.txt. I don't have it. So in that case, it will tell me something went wrong opening the file. So if I have it, it's going to open the file, then try to write lorem is sum. And if that's not possible, it's going to say something went wrong when writing to the file. So that is that. So raise an exception. As a Python developer, you can choose to throw an exception if a condition occurs. To throw or raise an exception, use the raise keyword. You can make use of raise keyword to raise an exception. How? Let's quickly show that as an example. So by so doing, let me scroll down. Okay. So you can say x equals to 1 if x is less than 0, raise exception. Sorry, no number below 0. So if you run this, let's see the outcome. So if x is less than 0, raise exception, then it should give us sorry, no number below 0. Okay, I only put 1. 1 is greater than 0. That's why we didn't have the output. So in that case, we have this yes. Exception, sorry, no number below 0. So this is the exception information is giving us. So it raised an exception for us. So you can define what kind of error to raise and the text to print to the user using your raise keyword. So that is that. So you can also raise a type error. How can you raise a type error? For example, say you say x is equals to hello, and you now say if not type x, if the type that you have is not the one, is int. If not type s is int, then raise type error, and you have to check this as only integer are allowed. So when we save this and we run, we are going to have that. I need to move this. Let me make this one. Let me comment this out. I see now it says only integers are allowed because this is a string, and if not string is int. So if it is int, it should raise this, but if it is string, it will not raise any error. So that is where we are going to stop for try and error, and I believe you can lay your hands on more error type, more exception type that you need to know about in order to improve your skills in Python. Thank you.